overwhelming, it's probably not because you need more tools. It's because you're trying to automate without actually having a clear plan. Most business owners don't struggle because they lack effort. They struggle because they haven't mapped out their customer lifecycle and the strategy behind it. And when you don't know the stage that your customer is in, you automate the wrong things, or you stay manual in the wrong places. And that creates friction and burnout and definitely revenue leaks. So tell me in the chat, what actually feels heaviest right now? Is it that you don't have enough automation, or there's too much automation, or you just need to have a clearer plan on what to automate? So not enough to automate, too much to automate, or just not clear on what to automate. And as always, we're going to kick off with our theme song as we wait for our VIPs to jump on in. We'll be back in 3.5 with the content. And
you've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine. Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up?
everybody, to Strategy with Sally. This is our weekly live, and if we have not yet met, I'm Sally Sparks Cousins, the founder of OmniSAM. I'm your automation nerd, and I love me some sexy numbers. And we help business owners to build the right systems in the right order. Now, today we're going to be walking through my 7 stages of the customer's life cycle. And for each stage, we're answering 2 very simple questions. What should be automated and what must stay human? So you've got, you're going to work through this now. If you don't already know the 7 stages of the customer's life cycle, get a pen and paper out because we're going to go through it. But for each of the stages, you're going to reflect on what could be automated, what is currently fully manual, and what must stay human. And then where friction is showing up for you. This isn't about fixing everything today. It's about getting clearer on a strategy that you can slowly implement over time. Are you ready? Yes? Awesome. All right. Now, most business owners think in tactics. So they'll think like, I need more leads, or I need better follow-ups, or I need more sales. Does that sound familiar? But they don't think of the life cycle stages. So they can automate lead generation, but then they forget induction. They nurture endlessly, but they never convert. They close clients, but the onboarding might be messy. Or they deliver really well, but then they never upsell. And then they finish. And then they never ask for a review or a referral. Now, automation doesn't fail. Misalignment does. So does this resonate with you? Some of those steps you're like, yep, I do that. I am getting leads, but I'm forgetting for the indoctrination. I've maybe got a long-term nurture, but I am not actually converting. So the question isn't what should I automate? The real question is, at this stage, what protects consistency and what protects trust? Automation actually protects that consistency, right? And the human element, where only a human can do, that protects trust. So people can get to know you. We're in a bit of a trust drought at the moment, would you agree? Because who's getting phone calls now from AIs? I got one the other day and it sounded like they were in a call center, but it was 100% an AI. Now, we are currently building out or revamping our AI. We're being totally honest with it. I can tell you now. My AI is going to be real quirky. It's going to say, hey, I'm Dr. Sparkle. I'm an AI. I'm still learning. I make mistakes, but a human's a click away, right? I'm going to be very transparent that it's an AI. But there are parts of that customer's journey that will still need a human. And literally every single stage will actually need both automation and human as well. So let's start with stage 1, lead generation. So lead generation is about attracting clients or prospects, right? You are trying to get their attention onto what it is that you sell. Because, well, you can't sell a secret. You may have the best product out there in the world, but if we're not marketing, if we're not putting it in front of people, people aren't going to know about it. Now, when this stage is strong, growth feels really steady. You hear me say, and Ash loves it as well, every day be marketing, right? She's not here for the do's at the moment. She's making phone calls herself. She's doing the human part at the moment. That's what she does on a Tuesday morning. But when lead generation is weak, everything feels harder. Automation here supports delivery of the things that are going to give them resources, right? So they are usually opting in for something. They're wanting to learn a little bit more, and you can deliver that automated, right? Here's your freebie. Here's some follow-up emails. Here's some follow-up texts, right? It also can handle admin. So it will add a note to the contact's record to let you know what it is that they opted in for. It can add a tag to let you know, an activity tag, which if you want to know more about our tagging system, there is a video on that. But it will tell you what action and activity that person's done. It will also track the behavior. So every time a lead clicks on the email or clicks to open that free resource, we can give it a score so we can see how engaged that brand new lead is. Also, it will capture the lead itself when they fill in the information. But your voice, your positioning, and your authority, that must stay human. So I want you to write this down. What in this stage could be automated? So have a think about that. What in lead generation could be automated? So we're going to do a bit of GSD today. You want to do that? Yep. All right. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think what can be automated in lead generation.
On the run from my given disaster.
Alrighty then. So there we go. We've got a couple of minutes for that. We've got a few of these coming today. So if you're listening to this on replay, I recommend you get yourself a pen and paper and don't waste this opportunity. All right. Next question for lead generation is, where are you finding that you're still fully manual in the lead generation part? So here we go. And the second part to this question is, where are you repeating yourself? So where are things that you're finding you're doing it over and over again and you're asking yourself, can this be automated? So for me, for example, I have a rule of 3. If I've done something 3 times, I will ask myself, can this be automated? Now, the cool thing is, if you're with us and you're in your community, you just ask and we go yes or no. So I want you to have a think about that in regards to lead generation. What is still fully manual? So are you sending emails out to deliver your freebie? Are you currently following up manually, right? And if so, what parts of that are you constantly doing on repeat? And where are you sending things, or how are you sending things to people? Are you doing it individually or are you automating that? All right, so again, let's do a 2-minute GSD. What is currently fully manual? Where are you repeating yourself? And let's hit that button. Where is it gone? Here it is.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting in the zone and staying there, that feels more like luck than something you can control. So that's why we made Brain FM. It's like a
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself.
Alrighty then.
No one's stopping me now.
Alrighty then. So the final part for lead generation is what must stay human. Okay. So I'll tell you, when it comes to lead generation, what must stay human is you picking up the phone, baby. That's it. Right now, if somebody's opted in and they've given you their phone number, you should be calling them within 24 hours. That's one of our ATC rules, our attempt to contact rules. When that lead first becomes part of your CRM, they're added into OmniSAM. Within 24 hours, you must try to call them and just check how they went with the resource. This isn't to sell. It's to build trust. It's to stay front of mind, tip of tongue. So what I want you to do now is look at your list. Where are some friction points in that checklist that you're like, yes, that needs to be done, right? And circle them. Not everything needs to be fixed now, but it's a great list to start creating for all the things that you eventually want to automate. I always try to automate the front end first because delivery is more of that human connection, and sales also, and we'll get to those. All right, so let's talk about stage number 2, which is induction. Now, induction is orientation. It's what happens after somebody opts in. When this stage is really strong, then sales feel so much easier. And when they're weak, leads kind of drift. And automation will give you that strategy to be able to make sure that you are giving them a great orientation. So this is a welcome sequence, okay? This is not about selling. This is about educating and then giving them clear next steps. Structure. But if someone replies or if someone engages deeply, then that is where the human will step in. So I want you to think about now the same questions. Now this time we're not going to stop for GSD, but after this session, we're going to do some GSD with those who are here live. And if you're listening to this on replay, just pause, set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes and answer each of these questions. So for the orientation or induction stage 2, what could be automated? What is still fully manual? And what must stay human? Then you will look at the checklist. And if someone joined your world today, would they know exactly what to do next? All right, so I'll give you a second just to write those 3 questions down because we're going to do these for each of the stages. What could be automated? What is still fully manual? And what must stay human? Then you will look at the checklist and you're going to work out which things you can start to add to your to-do list to be able to get those things automated. All right. So the next stage is stage 3, nurture to convert. Now this stage builds readiness. There is no pressure in this stage. It is just about getting them ready to make a decision. So when your nurture to convert stage is strong, conversions feel really natural. You know, they've already been well educated so that they can make an informed decision. You see, we can't pull out a gun and hold it to their heads and make them buy. What we can do is give them really great value, resources, education for them to do some adulting and make an informed decision if you are the right next step for them. So when it's strong, it'll feel real natural. Now, automation ensures that nobody is forgotten. And you will send structured emails. Now, another thing is follow-ups is part of nurture to convert, or reminder systems for you also to follow up. But when it comes to people who are doing emotional replies to you or they have really high intent, then that's you. That should be human reaching out. So if you think about, say, for example, you're getting 50 leads coming in a week. Just for example, you got 50 new emails. You will find that sometimes if you've got too many, it's hard to follow up with every single person. So what we're looking for is engagement scores. We start there first. Now, the 24-hour rule is like it's a must in regards to trying to call that person. But here's a little hot tip. We can actually do a voice drop if you've got a phone number connected that just leaves a voicemail message when somebody checks out your freebie. And sometimes they think that you've actually called them, but it's not. It's just a voice drop, right? And then they're calling you back usually. And now rather than you doing a cold call, you're actually answering them. It's so much better than cold calling people. When you've driven them into the funnel, they've got a voice drop, they try to call you back, you pick up. Now, if you miss that pick up because it was automated and you weren't right next to your phone, then it sends a missed call text back. And it says, oh, so sorry, I just missed your call. What can I help you with? Then we automate that missed call text back and it sends a text message or an internal notification inside of OmniSAM to let you know somebody has called you. It has a link direct to their phone number so that you can just click it and call them. You don't have to go searching. And it also has a link to their contact record. So if you want to go and look at notes, you just click on that little link in the missed call text back automation. Now, of course, you've got to have a phone number attached to your OmniSAM account, but that's totally possible as well. So these are some examples of things that you can automate and must stay human in stage 3, nurture to convert. So again, you're going to answer those questions that we had before. What could be automated? What is still fully manual? And what must stay human? Then, again, in this stage, you're going to check for some friction signals. Is your nurture intentional Or is it just accidental? Like you've just put things out there just to send an email? Sure, maybe when you first set up your weekly nurtures, they are very general. But the more you learn, you can jump back in and tweak them. If you've written a blog post, send them from the email to the blog post. If you've got a video, send them from the email to the video. What is that doing? It's giving you more engagement scores. Every time they click on that link in that email, they get another point. And it shows you the people who are most interested, so that when you're looking at your ATCs, your attempts to contact or your follow-ups, you can make an educated decision on who is the one that I'm actually going to do that human connection with. Is there going to be somebody who's got 2 for their engagement score, or somebody who's got 42 for their engagement score? Big difference, right? So then you're intentionally knowing where the human should be and also allowing the automation to take care of the rest. All right, so that is stage 3, nurture to convert. So let's move into stage 4, sales. Sales is decision support. It is not persuading people or forcing them. It's support. Automation should protect the strategy and the consistency, such as booking links, reminders, proposals, follow-ups, but trust and that individual diagnosis of their problems and the objection handling, that cannot be automated. So in your service-based business, you must help to diagnose the problem. So you may have a service that helps in lots of different areas, but what are the words that individual person is using? That's how we then help to diagnose the problem. So for example, if somebody came into OmniSAM, they may have a lead generation problem, or they may have a problem with engagement in a growing community. Very different, right? Now we can do both of those to help you, very different things. But it's also, you've got to listen. That's why you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. When you hear what they're saying, you will be able to position your offer to what it is that they're struggling with. Providing, of course, you can deliver on that promise, right? So again, things like trust, diagnosis, and objection handling, that cannot be automated in your business. All right, so again, you're going to come back to this and you're going to write down, or pause if you're on the replay, where could automation reduce the friction between the decision point and that sale? And then where are you reinventing the wheel in your sales? And what must absolutely stay human? Now, again, once you've written your checklist, I want you to have a look at the sales structure, and does it feel actually structured, or does it feel really draining? So I'll give you a little example of what happens during our sales process. For example, somebody gets a sales call. Human has to turn up to that sales call. Then they say not yet, or they need to think about it. So what do? We mark the appointment complete. The human needs to do that. And then you can trigger a follow-up email or trigger booking an appointment. And then the appointment reminders go out and follow-ups go out. Right? We also manually will do a recap email to them about everything we've discussed and the solution that we have presented them, which is your offer. And then we give them more resources. And one of our rules is when you're in the sales process and you've finally gotten to speak to somebody, even if it's in the follow-up stage before an appointment, our rule is never finish a conversation without booking your next conversation. Even if they're like, I'm not ready yet, call me in 6 months' time. Put it in your calendar. Call them back. in 6 months' time, or you're letting leads fall through the crack. I think the longest somebody stalked me was around 6 years before they said yes and joined the program. And I'd see them come all the time to free events and downloading free resources when they pop up on their newsfeed. But if I didn't keep following up, they would never have remembered when it was time for them and they were ready. All right, moving on now to stage 5, which is onboarding and fulfillment. Now, this stage determines retention, right? So you don't get buyer's remorse. Now, when your fulfillment and onboarding is strong, the client feels really confident in the work that you've done and that you are going to be able to deliver on the promise that you've given. But when it's weak, you will feel really burnt out. So automation actually reduces a lot of repetition, such as sending out contracts, sending invoices. If people are not logging into their course, we need to follow up with them. I mean, we know industry standard for somebody completing a course is only 10%. So what did we do to improve that? We've got some automated follow-ups, and we've also got some manual touch points in there as well. Or say somebody hits a milestone. For example, somebody builds their first lead funnel. We want to know that. Or if they hit a certain point in the course and they've gotten through that, we want to celebrate that, make them feel awesome for doing the thing. So when it comes to experience and expectation, we need to make sure they're fully aligned so that the promise that you're giving, you truly deliver and wow on that promise. In the first 30 days, we do a 90-day where we have very high touch in the first 90 days. Well, because our offer isn't a simple offer. You've got to learn the tech. You can't just buy it and expect that it works. We shortcut a lot of that with our business in a box, again, automated. But Ash has to do check-in calls, especially in that first 30 days. She does a weekly check-in with them. How's it going? How far have you gotten through? Because then that builds trust, right? Having those strategic reviews in place, that's the human's job. All right, again, your questions for this: what can be automated? What is still manual? And what must stay human? Okay, stage 6, we're getting there. We're nearly at stage 7. Stage 6 is upsell. Now, upsell is the evolution. It's continuity. It is sometimes monthly reoccurring revenue, right? If you sold them into a coaching program, maybe you can get them into a membership program, right? And when this is strong, revenue will start to compound and the lifetime value of your customer will go up. But when it is weak, what will happen is clients will quietly disappear. Automation keeps that opportunity visible. Like, for example, if they're up for renewal, or maybe you can send some upgrade reminders. So if, for example, we've got an event coming up at the end of April, they register for a ticket, they pay $49 to attend this in-person event. Then we offer them a VIP upgrade where they get two special VIP sessions, a workbook, and a couple of other cool resources. Now, we ask once, but what about the reminders for those that don't take it? So we send upgrade reminders, about 3 of them, in the lead up to the event. And then that will grow your conversions, right? But conversations, that's you. So if somebody's coming to the end of their time with you, we can automate reminders and renewals and upgrades. But guess what? You can't automate. You picking up the phone and getting a review and presenting them with an offer to take it to the next step. They may see it in an email or in a text message, but how much better will it land when you're congratulating them for making it through your program? And here's the next logical step for you, because there'll still be a gap, right? There's usually another gap, because it's all well and good to help people at the start, but isn't it the ongoing support that actually creates that real change? And I know in a lot of service-based businesses, that's not done in a week or a month or even 90 days. It's the consistency over time that really builds that muscle memory in what it is that you help them with. So again, I want you to think about, what are the things that you're currently doing in regards to upselling? If you're not, well, maybe that's a big gap, that you don't currently have an upsell option. Now, that's totally okay. That doesn't mean I want you to go out today and create a brand new offer to add as an upsell. If you're not hitting your revenue goals on your core offer, don't even look at this yet, right? We can definitely start plugging it in later. But the closest thing to getting you to your revenue goals is really focusing heavily on stages 1 through 4. And then for, no cold feet, buyer's remorse, then you'll start to fix things. Like, for example, if you think about the previous stage in onboarding and fulfillment, sometimes you don't know what's going to go wrong until it goes wrong, right? We've just recently been looking at onboarding and fulfillment for what we do for our clients, and there are gaps there. And when I self-reflect, it's because I don't give my team enough training. I'm always busy, fulfill, do the client job. But where's the time for upskill? Where's the time for training them? Right? So these things we don't realize until they hit us in the face. Okay. And finally, the thing that will kick us all the way back to stage 1 is stage 7, reviews and referrals. Now, this is compounding trust. When it's strong, momentum will really build. You'll get referrals and reviews and regular Google reviews, and your trust factor grows, your SEO grows. So many things build and the momentum through this. But when it's weak, growth will stall. When you get a referral, you are so much more likely to convert because it's come from somebody who already trusts you, versus when you're just paying for ads to bring people in. It's a lot more work on the front end versus a referral that just comes in. And your reviews are there for social proof. So when people are doing their due diligence, as they should, and they see what it is you do and they see all of your amazing reviews and they compare it to other people in your industry, who are they going to choose? When you go and buy things, don't you sometimes look at reviews? I know, even when I'm looking through Temu, don't tell my daughter that I look at Temu. I go shopping, 2 a.m. shopping. Add it to the cart, never buy, but add it to the cart. But I'll also read the reviews, even on the products. All right, now, automation in this area, it also removes that awkwardness around asking for testimonials, all right? Or you could just send a review link. But when it comes to gratitude and recognition or partnership conversations, they must stay human. We're doing a lot of that this year. We're actually looking at running quite a few events where we collaborate with other people who are complementary to our business, not competitive. So we've got one coming up with somebody who's like really high into video content creation. They film for you and schedule for you and all those cool things. We can do it, but we don't. It's not our thing. But that had to be a human conversation, right? So do you have systems, or do you just hope to have systems? So like I said at the very start of this episode is not about getting everything that we've gone through done. It's about getting everything out of your head, looking at the bigger picture, and then just honing in on one thing to automate that's going to give you the biggest impact And that's usually around saving time on repetitive tasks, or it's about follow up when it comes to leads, because that's where the income starts to come in if you're not hitting that. Now, if you've already got lots of leads and that's all working great, but you're finding customers are canceling, well, onboarding is the space that you should be playing in. Or if you're doing sales but you're not converting, well, sales is where you need to be putting your work. Or if you can't remember the last time you got a review and you've just helped 20 people in the last month, reviews and referrals may be the spot. So have a look at that list and remember, it all doesn't need to be done today, and you'll always be tweaking these stages for the life of your business. It never stops, I can tell you. Marketing strategies change, algorithms change, right? We're always going to be improving, but one day you'll hire people that will help you do it yourself, right? If you've already got staff, they may already be looking at this for you. Now, in regards to automating without actually mapping out your customer's life cycle, you'll be just automating things in the wrong order, or just stuff that doesn't need to be done yet. Things I wouldn't skip are induction either, and upsell, because that's a revenue thing. But I wouldn't try to automate sales, because that's a conversation. Now, you could sell low ticket offers without having a sales conversation, but geez, you're going to need to sell a lot to make decent money. I mean, I remember when I used to sell chocolate molds, right? I'd sell 50 chocolate molds in a day and I'd make like $100. It's like, it's not a lot of money for a day's work. So you would need to make sure that you are also, you've got a high ticket offer or something that is helping you reach your income goals as well. And I can tell you, you do not need more tech, right? You keep thinking, I need to automate this, I need to go and get this other thing and this other thing. You don't. You need a strategy and aligning everything to those 7 stages of the customer's life cycle. So your GSD is choose one stage, not 7, just one. And what is the one improvement that would create the biggest impact? And I want you to write that down. Have a look at it. Don't waste this time that you've had me sitting in your ear. Don't waste this time and then take the information and do nothing with it. I'm all about GSD, getting that shit done. And I want you to write it down. Because when you focus in on one solid area, and I always say, choose one thing a month to improve in your business. You can't improve all 7 stages. The same as the business owner's journey, which is another framework we work under. You can't work on all of those either, but you need to pick something. Progress over perfection. So if today gave you a few more strategies or cleared some things up for you, but you're unsure which stage to prioritize first, well, that's exactly what we can help you do with an automation audit. Just shoot us an email at support@omnisam.com.au and ask for an automation audit. We will be happy to have a look through your current system, actually work out what should be automated, what must stay human. You can walk away with that plan and decide, what will I implement? So what we'll do is we'll identify what's currently consistent and where things are breaking down. And then we'll help you to prioritize that properly. And we protect what must stay human. And you do not need more automation. You just need a plan and aligning your automation with what's important. And that starts with a clear plan. All right. Now, before we sign off, as always, I'm just going to jump on over to those who are in the room and bring a couple of them up. And I would like to hear, what was your key aha for today? Or do you know what is your one thing. Let's have a look here. What about Sharon? Come on up, Sharon.
Hey.
Hello. Let me figure out why I can't see you on
Hi.
the screen. Let's try this. No, that's me. That's not what we want.
That is you.
That is me.
Oh, there we are.
There she
Oh,
is.
geez, my light's not real good, is it? Anyway, I haven't really got to the point where I have an offer or anything yet. My thing is trying to get new leads to get them to sign up.
Yeah. So we've got your offer because we mapped that out in your offer creation
Yeah, I got the
session.
offer. I just got to get the people to get to the next stage.
Yeah. So with that, what you need is to turn on a marketing funnel. Now, I know that you started to build one because we did that in the 3-day GSD.
I've done the funnel. Yeah.
How are you now getting it out in front of people?
I've got them now in the shopping centers all around town.
Mm-hmm.
In the local buy, swap, and sell sites for this area.
Yep.
But then I have reached out to even some American sites as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because our recipes that I've got in the funnel will suit anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'll be quite happy to, if they wanted them converted into their metric and not ours, whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah. So the next thing is to do the paid ads. That's my next thing.
Yeah. So just think about, you spent petrol, printing, resources to go out and put them in shop fronts and all the different places.
Yeah.
So your next budget will be paid ads.
Yeah.
Right. So like a letterbox drop is, I don't recommend it because you don't know who's in that house. They're probably not interested.
Yeah.
Where
I can't walk by myself anyway.
Yeah, well, that's right. But a paid ad becomes more targeted the longer it works. So it's actually starting to put it in front of people who are interested in your thing. It's like almost walking up to the front door and knocking and seeing if the right person's there before you show them the flyer. So but I love that, you've spent some money and you've taken some time. That already shows you're willing to invest in your marketing, so that, because you can't sell a secret. So that's awesome.
No, that's right.
Next is,
and it's a good secret. It's just it's just
it is. It's awesome, right? Real food, real easy. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. What about? Where's my little windows? They're all disappeared over here. What about Deborah? What was a key takeaway for you today?
It's lovely to go over the whole 7 stages again and just reinforce that knowledge. And I'm obviously still in lead generation. I'm still in stage 1. I've got the ad ready to go. I haven't started it yet, but that's coming this week, I think.
I'm so excited. Sexy numbers coming soon.
I finished my 12 chapter, my 12 lessons.
Yay.
I dropped that in yesterday. That's just the framework. That's not the full written out lessons, but it's pretty thorough, I think. Mm-hmm. I've worked on it hard. And I just have actually, may I ask a question regarding stage 1 and stage 2?
100%. Go for it.
Okay. So stage 1, attracting the clients, that's where we advertise, where we have a lead magnet or whatever. So when it comes to responding, if somebody has responded to the lead magnet and clicked on it and that, does that now fall instantly into stage 2, or is that still in stage 1 when we send them out?
Yeah, no, that would move into stage 2, which is educating them about what you do. Inside the automation, you'll see that they drop into the new leads section in the pipeline. Okay. Then if somebody replies to that email, it'll automatically move them into lead responding. So you know that's somebody who is engaging with you. Or if you're chatting in the DMs with somebody, lead responding. So that communication is now opened rather than just being a lead. Now they're more of a prospect, right? Because now you're
Right.
trying to qualify them.
Right.
If you want more clarity around that kind of follow-up and pipeline management inside of the Business in a Box, it's good to go back and rewatch the opportunities and pipeline section, because that actually shows you 3 different pipelines that I've used over the years, and you just choose the best way that you like to follow up with them.
Great.
And then,
Thanks.
so we automate the first 5 emails that are education about
Yeah.
you. But if they start
Yeah.
talking, you need to remember to, if you've got a number, pick
Call
it up.
them.
Yeah, call them, right?
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
so much money I see left on the table when people don't make those phone calls. Like every
Sure.
Tuesday morning when I'm doing strategy with Sally, Ash is doing phone calls. It's just the
Yeah.
thing we do every week, right? I'm here every single Tuesday. Ash is on the phone every Tuesday morning calling people, right? So
Yeah.
starting to schedule your time like that, it's like when you work for an employer, right? There are certain days of the month you go to a team meeting. There are certain days of the month that they might come and assess you, or the same with running your own business. You need, like I always say, if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. So even Ash
Yeah.
puts in her follow-up phone calls in the mornings, right? On
Yeah.
a Tuesday. It's
Sure.
blocked out. No one can interrupt her during those times. But yes, good questions, really good questions. Jenny Williams. Hello, how are you? I've got to find, where
Hello.
is she hiding? She's over here.
Hey.
My buttons aren't working
Uh,
today. Here she is.
I don't have a lot to say because unfortunately I've only just arrived.
Oh, that's okay. And I know Emma's probably
missed the whole
busy with
talk.
kids. No, all good, Jenny. Look, going back through and looking at these 7 stages of the customer's life cycle, it's one of those RIM things: repetition, immersion, model, approve, and practice. If you're not sure what to work on, go back to the 7 stages of the customer's life cycle and ask yourself, where's the gap? Where's the biggest bottleneck? And then with the business owner's journey, so the different areas you've got to go through, those 7 phases of see it, design it, build it, fill it, sell it, deliver it, and scale it. Each of those areas need attention depending on what stage of business you're in. So these are the models, like my IP. These are the things that I've put together through many years of coaching and experts and learning that I find work best, and we deliver that to you to help you with a recipe, right? There are lots of recipes out there for running a business, and this is the recipe we help you with, right? You've heard the story I share about having you go to the cupboard and there's this recipe book for the best chocolate cake in the world. And then you're like, okay, so I've got to crack the eggs and sift the flour and whatever it is. I mean, I'm sure Sharon can tell us how to make a really awesome chocolate cake. But then you go back to the cupboard and you find another book that says it's the best chocolate cake, but they say that you've got to preheat the oven first and you've got to use not cocoa, but melted chocolate. The recipe's different, but the end result is similar. You've got a chocolate cake at the end. The same when it comes to your business model and your strategy. Lots of people can give you a strategy, but you've got to follow it through to the end. Be one of those 10% that make it to the end. And then constantly review and improve, or measure and optimize, as we say around the town here. All right, my beautiful humans, we've hit the top of the hour. I'm going to go dark and spend the next AMA session with everybody, any of our clients that are out on the live stream. Yep, lots of eyeballs out there. Come on in now. We're about to do AMA. Ask me anything around strategy or what you're currently working on if you need clarity on what to do next. But for everybody who's listening to this, either on the podcast or on the live stream videos, thanks so much for joining us and making it to the end. You must like us or something. So as always, never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get one income producing activity done every day. And of course, every day be marketing. No, there's no Ash. So what about the people in the room? Hang on. I love it. They're so cool. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next stream, which will be same time next week, 10 a.m. Melbourne time. Smart people Google. Bye for now.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're worth